impactful grassroots charity in our city and beyond. Our initial focus areas are safe shelter and food insecurity, addressed by delivery of thousands of hot, nutritious, individually packaged meals and hundreds of food and grocery hampers weekly, and transitioning people living rough in the streets, encampments, forests, etc., into safe and dignified housing, and while ensuring the necessary wraparound supports are provided and ongoing. We work closely with several other organizations, including Streets to Homes, Sistering, MDOT, the Multidisciplinary Outreach Team, and CAMH, to name a few, to move people from the streets and parks into safe living conditions. We also provide much needed clothing, PPE, and other essentials to those in need, which includes families new to Canada fleeing the hardships they faced in their originating countries. I'd like to now bring Kim Curry, our Executive Director of Seeds of Hope, up to come up and say a few words about some of our programs. Kim?
I first want to thank Bob for this great event. I'm not a big fan of fundraisers, and I said if you can do it without costing our money for tents and our people, and he did it, and he did a great job. Yes, Brooke, Nadine, and probably many more. Don't want to put a downer on, and I know we all talk about how great all the work we do is, and we do some good, very essential work. With the food banks, with the emergency housing, with hospital emergency rescue, our men's recovery houses from second stage recovery and second stage housing for addiction. We try to look at what the community is saying and how we can address it. It is a very difficult process. The emergency housing that we've secured in the last few years was because there is no shelter, and we found people in wheelchairs with colostomy bags being out on the street. We have people with stage 4 cancer out on the street with nowhere to go, and increasingly people are being kicked out of coffee shops and the 24-hour spots that are available. So when we all talk about what's great, we actually have a huge tragedy of conscience in our city. It is unconscionable how we're treating people in so many ways. So our homes that are doing some really good things, and Bob talked about some of these, and I'm happy to talk about all the great things we're doing, but I feel like we keep focusing on the good things, and even when the winter shelter report came out, it looks like all these good things. It's a fraction of what people are freezing to death. We on the front lines deal with people with frozen fingers and toes that lose them, and the suffering that happens. We look at death. We should look at also the suffering, the immense suffering that happens with people before they even get to that stage. And we as a society, even as right wing as people might want to be, or it doesn't even matter, we decided that we're going to help one another. And this is a group that people here that do help one another. And we need all our gifts and talents. So some of us work on the front line and we can do good work, but there's all these other gifts that help us. And that you've done this, like having this happen. And we need every echelon of society to come together and say this is wrong and we're going to do something about it, and be part of it. We don't all have to be frontline. We don't all have to be social workers. I'm not a social worker. but we say this is what matters, and we need to have some compassion and care. I don't know what else. I want to thank amazing people like Micah, who I couldn't live without, and there's Susan, there's Joel, there's oh gosh, I'm blanking on a few people that are Elizabeth. They got us through the winter, or the last few years on our board, and I just would like to thank so many, Marlena, who puts out all the deliveries for us. It's just such a rich fabric when we all come together and help each other in any little way. Thank you.
Thanks, Kim. I want to point out a couple of people who are in the room, though, because you're talking about the work that needs to be done in the city. We have my good friend Joe Mahavik, who's not in city council anymore, but he was one of the biggest proponents of working and advocates of working with me, working with the homeless community. We've got Chris Glover here. Chris, where are you? We've got Phil Andrew is here. Where is she? There she is. All people who really work really hard in government, and that's what we need. A lot of that, and we need a lot more of that. So I wanted to thank them for being here, because that shows their support. So I want to thank all the amazing musicians, sisters and brothers, once again. And coming up, we're going to be every second Tuesday for donating their performances tonight for this, so that we can enjoy the music and enjoy and have some fun while we're supporting and raising money to, for the work that we do every day. I want to encourage you again to check out the auction. There's lots of amazing things out there around the room. There's art, there's some signed jerseys, there's hockey tickets, and I'm going to get to there's going to be a live auction on a couple of pretty cool things in between sets for every second Tuesday. We're going to get to that. 50-50 draw. If you haven't got tickets, you can find people walking around with tickets that look like these, and they're $5 for one, $10 for $40. We'll draw for that at the end of the evening. That's it. 100% of the proceeds goes to Seeds of Hope and the work we do. Let's get back to the music. We're going to go back to the 60s and 70s with every second Tuesday. Where are they, guys? Where's my band? Where's my band? And then I texted him, he's in the States. 15 minutes? Okay, we got 15 minutes, so we're going to take a little break. We're going to listen to some other stuff, walk around, enjoy some food being passed around, have some drinks, have some whatever. We don't want you to sing, Joe. We do not want you to sing, no. Leave that to the kids. Thanks everybody for being here. We love you. We'll talk to you after.